Welcome to Stick Figure Sorcery, and in this video we will be covering character backgrounds in Dungeons & Dragons. Between 2014's 5th edition and 2024's 5.5e, the names and flavour of many of the backgrounds is consistent. Sometimes a background has been given a new name, but with a very similar feel. But the impact that your choice of background has on your character is much greater with the new 2024 rules. Now, not just do they give you flavour text and inspiration for how your character is tied to the world, you gain powerful mechanical benefits within the game based on which background you start with. Each background gives you an origin feat, a powerful boon that will help you throughout the game, as well as the choice between several abilities to increase. Each of the backgrounds are tied to 3 separate abilities, and you can choose to increase your ability score in each of those abilities by 1, or alternatively, one of them by 2 and another by 1. Because each of the backgrounds are tied to set abilities, and the feat you get is different for each background option, some of the choices appear tailor-made for a specific class, but don't feel like you have to pick the one that was made for your class if a different background sounds more fun for your character. With 16 backgrounds given in the 2024 Players Handbook, I will be going over 8 of them in this video and 8 in the next one. Sages have spent their lives studying the inner workings of the world, the different planes of existence, magic, and all the knowledge that they can find in the various libraries or repositories of information where access was granted to them. Travelling around, trying to learn everything you can, from big public libraries in the largest cities to estates of minor nobles who are willing to trade your services for access to their private collections, your hunger for knowledge has guided your path. Sage is designed as the generic starting background for wizard class, and the benefits you gain from choosing it all have a wizardly feel to them. The abilities you can choose from to increase are Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. Constitution is important for all the classes. Wisdom is essential for clerics, druids, rangers, and monks, but also helpful for wizards and most classes. And lastly, Intelligence is crucial for wizards. If Wisdom or Intelligence are important for your class, getting a boost in them at level 1 is very helpful. The skills you gain proficiency with are Arcana and History, both intelligence-based skills, and have a very wizardly feel to them. They are very fitting to the background description, where you're trying to learn all the information you can get your hands on, and History and Arcana are common subjects to have in books and scrolls. Part of your background as a sage, you also get proficiency with Calligrapher's Supplies, a tool that indicates your past of copying down what you have found, but also allows you to write spell scrolls, which can be very helpful to you and your party. The origin feat you gain is Magic Initiate, specifically the wizard version. This feat gives you 2 wizard cantrips that you know and can cast whenever you want to, and you can choose one first level wizard spell that you always know and can cast once per day without using a spell slot. If you do have spell slots, however, you can also use those to cast the spell. You can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma as your spell casting ability for these spells. So as you can see, a very wizard heavy background, but alternatively a great way to get some wizard spells for one of the other classes. For a more martial background, Soldier might be the one you choose. Did you spend years fighting for king or country? A professional warrior who trained for war and lived a life of battle? Maybe your time of service has been fulfilled, or perhaps the kingdom whose banner you fought under is no more. Maybe you were banished for a major failure, or perhaps you decided it was time to take your learned skills and become a bit more lucrative as a mercenary or bandit and just walked away from your duty. Being a physical background, the ability boosts are from the physical abilities: Strength, Dexterity, and Constitution. Having spent your early adulthood in training for and surviving war, you have had to condition your body for such a lifestyle. It is a very fitting background to choose for a fighter, barbarian, or paladin character. Athletics and Intimidation are the skills which you gain proficiency in, and you gain proficiency with a gaming set of your choice, reflecting your off time gambling and carousing with your soldier buddies. Savage Attacker is the feat granted to soldiers. With Savage Attacker, Once per turn, when you hit with an attack, you can roll 2 of your damage dice and choose the higher one to be the amount of damage dealt. This attack has to be with a weapon, making this feat really valuable for martial characters who are using weapons in combat. Soldier is tailor-made for fighters, but is equally good for paladins or barbarians, and rangers can also get a good use from it. Acolyte spent time learning from a religious organization, learning the holy rituals and spiritual rites involved with the worship of that god. Being guided by a more senior member of a temple or holy site, you've been taught how to talk to the gods and intercede on behalf of the constituents of the temple and about the history of your religion. Your training in faith has also created a connection between you and your god. A calligrapher's supplies proficiency matches your experience scribing copies of religious texts in your training. The skills in which you gain proficiency are insight and religion. Insight from your time talking with the members of your congregation, and religion from your many hours of studying the history and rites of your faith. Acolyte is connected to the intelligence, wisdom, and charisma abilities. Studying holy texts, speaking with parishioners, and following strict ancient rituals are some of the activities you've done to reflect your boosts in these stats. Cleric is the clear class that comes to mind with a heavy religious connection, and wisdom being the spellcasting ability for them, making it a helpful boost. However, because they are gods of any domain, you can easily tie in any class. A fighter might have been a temple guard or a devotee to a god of war, and a wizard could be a follower of a god of magic, for example. The feat you gain from Acolyte is Magic Initiate Cleric. This feat works the same as the wizard version of Magic Initiate, with 2 cantrips and a free casting of a first level spell, but from the cleric spell list this time. It is a great way for a class that doesn't get healing magic, such as wizards or sorcerers, to get the ability to do a little healing. Have you made your living stealing from pockets or breaking into buildings? Are you a member of a thieves guild for the security of numbers? Or perhaps you have had to survive on your own doing whatever you can to survive. Those are some of the realities for PCs with a criminal background. From committing petty crimes to get by, to being part of a bandit group or thieves guild that can be quite lucrative as long as you keep to the group's rules. This background covers a wide range of criminal activities. The ability options for criminal are dexterity, constitution, and intelligence. Surviving on lean times, planning heists, and being light of foot and quick with your hands all show how those traits are fitting for this background. The rogue class is a clear connection to this background, but given how universally valuable dexterity and constitution are, it can be a fun choice for any PC. The 2 skill proficiencies criminals get are sleight of hand and stealth, both dexterity-based skills fitting for your background. Picking pockets and moving silently around were essential for making your living and not getting caught. Equally fitting is your proficiency with thieves' tools that you also get from being a criminal. Alert is a feat that gives you a boost to your initiative. You get to add your proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls, making you more likely to act in combat before enemies. In case you roll badly, or are looking to set up a fun combination with a teammate, the second benefit from Alert allows you to trade places in initiative with a willing ally after rolling for initiative but before anyone acts. Alert is a fun little feat and very fitting for a criminal background player. Living in the quiet places of the world, a life of introspection and deep contemplation is how a hermit subsists. Spending time in silence and in nature allows you to gain great insight into yourself and into the world around you. Maybe your hermitage is part of a faith or a sacred duty to maintain a shrine at the end of a pilgrimage. But it could also be because of your own choices to be apart from the world. Constitution, wisdom, and charisma are the choices of ability you are presented with if you choose the hermit background. Wisdom is a result of your many hours of deep thought, and constitution comes from your harder living, being away from the comforts of civilization. Honestly, I'm not sure where the charisma comes from and how it ties into the rest of the field for this background. Religion and medicine are the skills granted from this background, stemming from your meditations on the existence of all things and the need to be able to tend to any wounds you take or to treat anyone who visits. Your tool proficiency is the Herbalism Kit, which among other things allows you to make healing potions, further aiding you in this medical aid you might need to provide to yourself or others due to your living in the wild. Doubling down on this medical theme, the feat you get is Healer. This feat allows you to use an action to provide some healing to an ally in combat. Then, they use one of your hit dice and heal the number rolled on the dice plus your proficiency bonus. The second benefit of this feat is that when you are rolling to heal with a spell or with this feat, you can re-roll the dice if the number rolled was a 1. You must take the new result, meaning you are very likely to heal that little bit extra every time you are healing. Quick note, because it is when you roll the dice, it only works when you are the one casting the spell, not you being the target of the spell. But alternatively, using the battle medic part of this feat, you only get the chance to roll a second time on the 1 when you're using it to heal yourself, because otherwise the other person is rolling the healing dice. Druid is probably the most likely class tied into the hermit background, but with the abilities associated, you could maybe be a warlock, ranger, monk, or cleric, or any other class if you love this background flavour. Those with a guide background have spent their lives living in the wild places of the world and using that knowledge to lead others safely through it. Knowing where danger lies and how to avoid it, what plants are safe to eat, and how to find your way without getting lost are all trademarks to your way of life. Living in harmony with nature where possible, and being skilled enough to not rouse its ire when it's not harmonious, you survive in the wild like few can. Dexterity, constitution, and wisdom are the guide's abilities. Being able to carefully find your way through uneven terrain and picking where you can safely step to not wake the denizens of a forest are why you gain a dexterity boost. Living a hard existence on your own in the wild, surviving on the fruits and berries you can find and what you can hunt or trap are how your constitution is an option. Wisdom comes from your connection to the natural world, living as one with nature. This combination of abilities and background flavour text make it ideal for rangers, druids, or monks. Skill proficiency in stealth and survival are gained from the guide background. Survival from finding your way and knowing what's safe to eat, and stealth from being able to quietly make your way through the forest without disturbing the other residents who dwell within it. The tool you gain proficiency with are cartographer's tools, giving you the ability to make maps of the locations you are familiar with. Magic Initiate Druid, which works the same as the other two versions of Magic Initiate, but this time for Druid spells, is the feat granted for the guide background. Did you have a simple life before becoming an adventurer? A quiet, hard-working life of planted crops and tilled earth. Choose the farmer background for your PC. Finding a different balance with nature, between its bounty and its cruelty, overflowing harvests and years of famine, livestock eaten by predators or large clutches of newborn. You have always lived with a healthy respect for nature and all that it brings. The abilities connected to this background are strength, constitution, and wisdom. Strength comes from the physical labour that has been your life, constitution from the hard existence you have had to endure through, and wisdom descends from your years of connection to the natural world. This makes the background a great option for a martial character, such as fighter, barbarian, rangers or monks, but it also could be a great choice for a cleric or druid with humble beginnings. The skill proficiencies gained are very tied to all the flavour of a farmer, animal handling from the cattle and livestock you maintain, and nature from all your knowledge tied to the cycles of nature and crops. Needing to keep your buildings in a livable state, as well as keeping fences in good condition, has given you proficiency with carpenter's tools. Tough is an amazing feat that gives you 2 hit points for every level you have, and 2 extra hit points every time you level up. It is a super helpful way of making your PC extra hearty, and makes farmer an even more enticing background for a martial character. In a complete reversal to the previous background, would you prefer your PC to have grown up in the lap of luxury? Did you grow up going to banquets and learning from the finest tutors? Growing up with a silver spoon might have given you a taste for the finer things in life, or maybe you're ashamed of the wealth of your family and are seeking to make your own way in the world. Whatever your perspective of it, the noble background gives you some fun ways to play with class and wealth. Having had the best tutors in all aspects of your life, your ability boost options are strength, intelligence, and charisma. Training your body and having access to the best food has given you a step up on your strength. Partaking in the best education that only those with money can buy has advantaged you with intelligence. And studies in oratory and manners gives you the charisma option. Being able to leverage your position and skill with words gives you proficiency with persuasion, and your studies give you proficiency with history. The other proficiency you gain is with a gaming set of your choice. The noble given feat is also tied to the many tutors that have made up your education, and it is skilled. With skilled, you get to pick any free skills or tools and gain proficiency in them. This is a great way for you to get a wide range of skills under your belt and make you very competent in all of the pillars of the game. Noble is one of those backgrounds that doesn't seem tailor-made for any specific class, but with such wide-ranging ability boosts and a generally helpful feat, many classes could benefit from this choice. We're now halfway through the backgrounds, and with some fun options looked at, but with lots of inspiration to come, hope you've all enjoyed this one. Now get out there and roll some dice.